So my best friend texted me this the other week. My 5-year-old will not eat dinner anymore. Like nothing. Not even things that are on his favorite list of dinner options. It's about to drive me insane. And if you're nodding along thinking, same, let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Alex Turnbull, pediatric dietitian and mom of 2. And this is the Good Eaters Club, where we're redefining what it means to be a good eater. Because being a good eater doesn't mean eating everything. Eating perfectly, there's no such thing. Or liking all the right foods. It's about helping kids learn to trust their bodies, feel safe around foods, enough that they're willing to explore them, and grow without pressure or shame. So the first thing I told her was, yes, this can be totally normal, especially around the age when they start going to school. And there's so many reasons why this might be happening. Their growth slows down, so their appetite drops. Kids gain independence and opinions. Sensory awareness might be increasing. Dinner happens at the hardest time of the day. And maybe routines, school, and schedules have changed. Sometimes it's not one big thing, but a bunch of little things that have added up over time. I also told her to do a pause and quick check-in before we assume something's wrong and before she goes insane. This is what's worth checking into. What is his school schedule like? When does he eat his snack and his lunch? Is he maybe getting sick, or did he just come off of being sick? What and how much is he eating earlier in the day? Some kids front load their calories on the beginning part of the day and then eat nothing at dinner. Is he constipated? This one is sneaky and incredibly common and can really mess with their appetite or their willingness to eat. Does he seem overtired or overstimulated? Like I said, dinner often hits at one of the most challenging parts of the day where we're not usually the best versions of ourselves. And again, sometimes it's a combination of these things, not just one simple thing that you need to fix. But I think the thing that really got to my friend was that he won't even eat his favorites. And that can also be very common. Some kids go through what we call food jags. They burn out on foods that they love and are frequently eating. Their preferences change, and sometimes they're just not hungry at dinner. For kids, refusing a food usually means not today, not I'm never eating this food ever again in my entire life. When this happens, most parents panic or pivot really hard, which can backfire. That can look like pressuring, bargaining, short order cooking, or worrying you somehow caused picky eating, which isn't the case. It's not your fault most of the time. So here's what I told her to do next. Adjust your mindset around dinner. This one is big. Sometimes dinner is better for our kids when we stop treating it like the main event. But that's difficult because it tends to be the main meal or only meal that we eat together as a family. I wanted her to think of dinner as a mini meal or even a snack. No, not their favorite packaged snacks, just simply offering less at dinner. I wanted her to zoom out and look at the whole day and the whole week in regard to what he's eating, not just that one meal. So if breakfast, lunch, and snacks are generally pretty solid, I wouldn't worry about dinner too much. What matters is patterns over time. Keep offering familiar foods without commentary. I know that this one can be really hard, and she admitted it herself. We're not trying to convince them or sell them. We want neutral exposure. So we're not bribing them or pressuring them to eat foods on their plate or just 2 more bites, because that can actually just make them want to eat dinner less. Make sure there's at least one preferred or safe food at the meal, so they're at least eating something. This isn't about catering, it's about being considerate. And this preferred food can help bring them to the table, which is sometimes half the battle, and can help them start eating, which then might lead to them eating other foods. And finally, give him a little bit more control over what's on the menu. As kids start to get older, they can be more involved in the menu planning. And that might look like letting him plan and pick out 1 meal a week, choosing between 2 options that you could make for dinner, or helping prep and serve the food if they're interested in doing that. Involvement builds buy-in, even if they don't eat much that night. And finally, mealtimes are about more than just eating. They're about connection. And that connection sometimes matters more than their consumption. Now, this part matters too. I told her that if this continues over several weeks, starts spreading to other meals, not just dinner, foods keep dropping with no return, eating causes real distress, fear, or gagging, or variety becomes so limited, it's affecting growth, nutrition, and daily life. That's when it's worth digging into a little bit deeper. When these things start to happen, we start to look into things like pediatric feeding disorder, which means feeding challenges are affecting nutrition, development, or family life, or ARFID, which is avoidant restricted food intake disorder. And it's an eating disorder not related to weight or body image, but instead, it's often about fear, sensory sensitivity, or low interest in eating. And I want to say this really clearly. These are support labels, not blame labels. These diagnoses exist to help give families the right support, and kids can absolutely thrive with it. So I'm not saying that my friend's son has this, but it's important to understand where the red flags actually are. And even if those things aren't happening, but your gut's telling you something, trust that. You can talk with your pediatrician, ask for a referral to feeding therapy, or just simply start the conversation. Getting support doesn't mean there's something wrong. It means you're paying attention. A good eater is not a kid who eats everything, or eats and sits quietly, or eats on command. A good eater is a kid who feels safe at the table, who learns to listen to their body. I told my friend, and I'll tell you, if your child used to eat more variety and now doesn't, that doesn't mean you did something wrong or there's something wrong with your child. It means they're growing, and growing is not linear. If you know a parent who is currently losing their mind over a barely touched dinner plate, send this video to them and make sure that you subscribe so you never miss the Good Eaters Club.